Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I finally got a chance to watch the Odyssey. I know I'm late, and the reason for that is simple. I wanted to watch it in 70 and everywhere I was looking was sold out for weeks. And today was finally the day I got to watch it. I saw it at 11 a.m. show. I just want to start off by saying this film is actually really incredible to watch. The filmmaking, watching it in 70 to me at least, to me, was worth it. Seeing every frame, every shot, and in the biggest screen possible was just absolutely incredible. Incredible. I can't even begin to tell you how amazing it was. To me, the scenes that stood out the most was the scene where Odysseus and his crew were fighting the waves, and it was basically the final scene before his crewmen die and they get separated. That entire sequence felt absolutely amazing. I don't know if other people felt this, but I also felt like I was watching this film and it was made in it had like a 80s feeling to it. Like if you've ever seen like an 80s or 80s, I would say 80s or 70s Greek mythology film, right? Like the quality of film, it just had this weird vibe to it, but it just worked so perfect. Um Again, the visual effects, the water scenes, all of the scenes in the sea were just absolutely incredible to see, and acting wise, I think everyone did a phenomenal job for the little parts that they did have. Matt Damon did amazing, absolutely incredible. I thought Anne Hathaway was amazing. Zendaya, she's not even in the film for so long, but she plays Athena so well. It's really good. I thought she was absolutely amazing. Tom Holland again plays Telemachus, and he does a phenomenal job at that. John Berthel, and honestly, one of the show stealers was Robert Pattinson. The generational hater absolutely loved the way that he portrayed his character. So well done, and then Elliot Page, shout out to him, amazing job. S. Sinan did a really good job. He plays a very important role, I would say, and he did a wonderful job. He did a wonderful job. I don't know what the hell people were talking about, but this movie was amazing. Lupita, she has a very small role. She plays Helen of Troy, but again, she does a really good job. A really good job at what she does. Um, Truly amazing. To watch her do what she does for like literally the 5 to 10 minutes that she is on screen. She steals the show. Now, I have to say, some moments really stood out. The whole Battle of Troy was absolutely phenomenal. The Cyclops sequence, absolutely phenomenal. Um, the Giants, them versus the Giants, very well done, very beautifully done. And the fact that this wasn't even CGI, it's even more mind-boggling, but that's what made it so much more real to me. And I was like, this is incredible to do what they've done with very little to no CGI. Absolutely incredible. Like Nolan, he deserves all the flowers. The praise that this film is getting, the money that it's making, it deserves all of it. They did a fantastic job with this film. I know Warner Brothers is literally punching air and punching the wall and going like, shit, we don't have any good movies. We got DCU that's not doing that great. And then Nolan comes in and does this and they're like, fuck, we fucked up. Like, I know they are. I know the execs are, because Universal is laughing. Universal is making billions and they're going to continue to make billions as long as, Nolan decides to continue making movies, because this movie is something I would recommend everyone to go watch. Whether you watch it in 70 up to you. Whether you don't watch it in 70 that's also fine. But I just feel like if you don't watch it in IMAX at the very least, you miss out on a lot of the screen, from what I could tell. And if you watch it in 70 it's honestly, there were scenes where it felt like the screen was coming out. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It felt like 3D, but I didn't even watch it in 3D. And that's how amazing this quality was. Um, what else, man? I'm fresh. Like I just watched it, so I'm just trying to remember everything. I love that. Again, if you've read Homer's Odysseus or Odyssey, you know what it's all about. When I was in university, I took a few Greek mythology courses, and I think they pay homage to the story, very well done, like very well. And there's a lot of life lessons in there, right? Like one of the biggest lessons I think I forgot, and when I watched the movie, I remembered was Odysseus. I think personally, and this is just my opinion from my interpretation of the Odyssey, is that he didn't want to go back home after what he had done in Troy because he was too afraid to face the consequences of his actions, right? He wanted to die, and that's why he took the other route. There was like a Twitter feed, or like someone tweeted, or someone put up on Reddit, like, the Odyssey could have been completely avoided if Odysseus had just followed Agamemnon home, which is 100% true. But I think he did that to punish himself and the people and the men that he took with him, because he himself realized that what they had done was going to send the world into the dark ages, right? And it had set the world back. Um, and that's why when they escaped the Cyclops, he attacks it again, hoping that the Cyclops will catch up to them and kill them. But he's also afraid of death at the same time, right? Only when I think, when they get past the Cyclops and they're on their way to Cersei, I think he realizes that he has done these men wrong. And I think he's imagined that they have suffered enough, and that it's time for them to go back home. And his last journey will be to get these men back home, only for Cersei to tell him that, these men, they've already doomed themselves. They will die no matter what, but you have been forgiven by the gods, and you will be sent back. You know what I mean? Back to uh back home, right? Because I think the whole point was Odysseus may have wanted these men and himself to die, but he never wanted them to cause harm to people. And then it's all true, right? Like, even when he visits Hades and hell and stuff, he sees they tell him that you are the only one that's going to return, right? And these men they've already written their story, has already been written. They've been written to die. um, and they chose to die despite Odysseus's warnings, and when he told them, don't land here, or like, don't take anything from here, don't do anything from here, they didn't listen to him, and they went ahead and did everything the opposite, and they've sealed their fates, right? And that's what Athena was trying to make him understand, is that you have understood your penance, or like, you've understood your punishment, and you've understood the consequences of your actions. But these men, well, they don't get it. They're still in that mentality. They have not reached that level of heightened, I guess, um acceptance, or like, they haven't reached that level yet. And they've already doomed themselves, so why do you take responsibility for them? They've made themselves responsible for themselves and the actions that they've taken, eating the cattle that was forbidden and whatnot. And then they all end up dead, and that is why Odysseus ends up going back home, right? And he spends his time with Calypso for the 7 to 8 years. um Again, it's part of his punishment, right? The punishment of his entire family, right? You have Penelope, who's waiting for him. It's so hard to say this guy's name sometimes. Telemachus, Telemachus. Tom Holland's character. I can't remember. I don't know how to say it. Telemachus. Him growing up without a father and trying to, you know, navigate Ithaca while all of this is happening, right? And Athena continuously falling, or the ghost of the girl who he had let them slaughter, you know, following him in the form of Athena, whatever, right? So, like, him looking for forgiveness, and then finally finding forgiveness when he speaks to Penelope and understands what he has done, and his punishment, and what he had to do to repay the gods and the pen. You know what I mean? So, again, absolutely incredible I think the story itself, right? Like absolutely well written. I thought there was the scene of where he tells the Cyclops he is nobody, and then so whenever the Cyclops asks, or whenever the Cyclops is asked who did this to you, they would say he would say nobody did this to me, right? But that scene didn't happen. I guess they kind of took that out. There's a couple other things I think are missing, but other than that, like the adaptation was done really, really well, and I think the actors and actresses did a phenomenal job in each of their roles. Um, I will say I do kind of understand the point at these characters kind of speaking in just regular English. I understand that like that is a bit maybe of a turnoff in that sense. It does kind of take away from the realism because we know they're Greeks. Now we assume Greeks have an accent or something that distinguishes them from the English world. But again, I don't think it's I'm not gonna say it's not that big a deal, but it's not like a deal breaker at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like I can understand why some people might find that a little bit weird, but I also understand that like this was a choice made creatively, and like it paid off. It didn't hinder the movie itself. Like it didn't take away too much from me and be like, oh my god, I feel like I'm just watching a couple of people from New York talking. You know what I mean? Or America talking to each other. I did feel like I was in the world of Greece, the world of Ithaca, the world of the gods and everything. So I I think that was okay. But to talk more about the 70 mm, like the shots themselves, I don't even know how to describe it to you. You're going to have to actually see it for yourself to understand how incredible this movie looks in IMAX and 70 mm. Each shot, each frame, the way that he shot it, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's you get to see everything, every angle, every possible thing that could be in the shot. You get to see it and you get to enjoy it and you're immersed. I think that's what this film does the best. It completely immerses you into the story, into what you're watching. You're not I don't know how to say this, but you're not like for a second thinking about anything else. You're watching and you're anticipating what comes next. Like my wife, this is a 3 hour film. She doesn't really, or close to 3 hours. She doesn't really stay up for that long, or like you know what I mean. Like she gets kind of bored after a while. But she truly enjoyed herself watching this film, and she said, if you like Greek mythology and whatnot and history and stuff like that, like you will enjoy this film. And she thinks that they did a wonderful job doing it. And if my wife likes it, then that means, Christopher Nolan, you've done something amazing. um, but she absolutely enjoyed herself and she was completely, like I said, immersed. She was invested in what she was watching. So was I. And I think my entire theater, I think we only had a few seats here and there that were empty. Of course, that makes sense. It's been a month since the movie came out. And 11 a.m. is very early. I don't expect a lot of people to show up, but I know the 7 p.m.s and the, 10 p.m.s, 8 p.m.s, whatever they have, those are all sold out. So, you know, everybody in the theater, like they took whatever they could find in terms of when can I watch it, and they took any seat possible and they all enjoyed it. I think they all watched the film. There wasn't a peep, there wasn't a boop, there wasn't a phone out, there was nothing. Like everybody was glued to the screen, and I think that's what the 70 mm does, is that whether you enjoy it, like my wife was just like, I could have watched this in a regular film or like thing, but like I feel like if you did watch it in a regular theater or like not IMAX, I don't think you would enjoy and appreciate what you're watching as much. Um, but yeah, like I think that's the biggest thing. And yeah, the music was really good. Travis Scott plays a very small role. Um, again, I was shocked to hear that he was even in the film. But Christopher Nolan said, "I want you in the film," and he's only in, I think, the beginning and then the end, and that's about it. Really, he doesn't play any more than that, and he does his role the best as he could. That's whatever he was given, he did it. You know what I mean? And it was just weird to see him there, but it was also like it's pretty cool that you decide to bring him into the film as well. Like such a random person, but hey, I didn't mind it. I thought it was really good. John Leguizamo, this man is an amazing actor. He has been in God knows how many films and TV shows around, you know, or like since I've been a kid, right? So phenomenal, man, phenomenal acting. Absolutely, he brought me to tears in certain points of the film, especially when Odysseus returns and the way he doesn't know it's Odysseus, but the way he talks and the way his loyalty shows in the film, absolutely, absolutely amazing. Tom also brings me to tears in certain points when he realizes his father has returned. That was a very emotional scene, and I think Zendaya too, when Zendaya was looking at him and crying while she was telling the story to Penelope about what Odysseus had done and what Odysseus had learned. I also almost cried there too because I could see the pain in her eyes. Again, I know a lot of people hate her right now because she's in almost everything and all of that, and a lot of people will start to probably hate Tom Holland too because he's in everything, but they don't realize that like there's only so many actors out there that can bring out this emotion in you, whether you admit it or not. And I know a lot of people probably won't because they're a bunch of douchebags, but she is a phenomenal actress and she really knows how to pluck at your heartstrings, and she does such an amazing job with whatever she's given. Another one that I forgot to mention and who's always been very close to my heart, I think, is Charlize Theron. She does a phenomenal job as Calypso. Again, a woman that has very little role, like in terms of the film, right? Like doesn't have much to say, but she plays her part perfectly. And I think every actor and actress in this film, given the screen time that they were, whether it was for 5 minutes, whether it was for an hour, whether it was for literally a minute, absolutely killed it in this film. They did a phenomenal job in this film. And again, you don't get to see that very often, right? You don't get to see a movie where every actor and actress does an amazing job in every part that they were given. And again, they did this beautifully. I love the pacing. I thought the idea of having action sequences in between every vital moment, right, and then slowing things down but picking it up, beautifully well done. I thought the pacing was really, really well done. Another big thing was the music. Ludwig did a phenomenal job. You know, it starts off a little eerie, but then it really picks up and it ends off very beautifully. And I think that's what he does amazingly. Again, phenomenal, phenomenal job at that. Um, I don't know what else to tell you guys. Like, you have to go watch it to actually experience it and to understand what you're seeing. But yeah, like, I think that's what makes Christopher Nolan the person that he is, right? Like, he he is that type of person, or he makes those type of films where you kind of have to go and watch his film to actually understand what he's made, right? And to appreciate what he's made. And he is worth going to the movie theaters for. So again, phenomenal movie. I definitely I know this is crazy, but this actually might be the best film of the year so far. I watched Spider Man. I've seen so many films this year, but this film was actually incredible to watch in 70 and I haven't enjoyed a film like this in a very long time. And like, excluding of course Spider Man, I enjoyed a lot, but I'm just saying like in general, like a regular film. The last time I had this much fun, I think it was when I watched Masters of the Universe, which was super fun to me. Again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it on Prime. Absolutely amazing film. But this movie was top tier. And I'm very happy that I got an opportunity to watch it in 70 because, again, if you don't watch it in IMAX or 70 you are missing out. You won't, I don't think you'll be as immersed and you won't be as invested. This film is designed for those formats, and you need to actually, to truly appreciate it, you need to watch it in that format. So, like, I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I'll catch you on the next one. Have a wonderful day, guys.